A Christian website that gives advice to couples about how to live by the Bible's gender roles recently advised men that they should not look at their wives during sex if she engaged in intercourse begrudgingly. Okay, interesting. Now, in a column on the biblicalgenderroles.com website last week, a writer going by the name of Larry Solomon argued that men, when it comes to sex, should not tolerate refusal. Well, already problematic. Now, first of all, if she's begrudgingly giving you sex, that does not imply consent. And do you know what it's called when you have sex without consent? Right, that's called rape. Okay, so what this guy seems to be advocating for is marital rape. Don't believe me? I'll continue. According to this columnist, women who did not like having sex with their husbands should, quote, fake it until she makes it. Quote, you need to realize that whether your wife knows it or not, she needs to have sex too. If you don't have sex with your wife at regular intervals, even sometimes when she is not in the mood, but consents anyway, you will open yourself to temptation. Well, at least he mentioned consent. I have to at least acknowledge that, as much as it pains me to do so. Now, he's also going to have some advice on what to do if you're upset because you're either coercing or flat out raping your wife. Don't look at her face. Don't look at her face. Don't look at her face. Watch. Focus your eyes on her body, not her face. Focus on the visual pleasure you receive from looking at her body and physical pleasure you receive from being inside your wife. You want to connect with her physically and emotionally during sex. But your wife is the one refusing to connect with you emotionally, so you have to concentrate 100% on the physical side. Wow. Blaming your wife. Fucking classy. This dude. It seems like this dude's giving you insight into his own sex life. Or his own fucked up marriage. Because it sounds fucked up. Now, I've been married about 4 years. I've never had a situation like this. At no point in my relationship has it ever been even close to resembling this guy's situation. Normal people don't have marriages like this. Normal people don't say, hey, you know what, marital rape? Great, awesome. There's so much wrong here. So much wrong here. Now, Solomon also said that men should think of their unwilling wives like Medusa, the mythical Greek monster who could turn men to stone if they looked upon her face. Wow. You're not getting any points, dude. If the goal is getting laid, you're getting farther and farther from it. Quote, I know you love your wife. Most men love their wives, but sin is ugly. Your beautiful bride's face becomes ugly during this sinful time that she's grudgingly giving you sex as she grimaces, wanting you to just hurry up and get it over with. Just hurry up and get it over with. I wonder how many times he's heard that. It kind of makes me feel bad if there is a Mrs. Solomon. Makes me feel really bad for her. And like grimacing, just listen to the language he uses here. Grimacing. Maybe she's grimacing because you're raping her. You ever thought of that? You fucking sick bastard. Either that or you're just really, really, really terrible at sex. Even though you got consent. You just must be horrible at it for her to be like, just hurry it up. Oh. Now finally he adds, so like men, who could not look at Medusa's face otherwise they would be killed, realize that if you look on your wife's face when she is displaying a sinful attitude towards sex, it will kill your sexual pleasure. It may actually make it much more difficult for you to achieve the physical connection and release that you need. He concluded that sometimes we have to work around the sinful behavior of our wives, and this will be one of those times. Once again, the blaming women for everything that's wrong. Well, they're sinful creatures. You just got to work around it and not look at her face instead of look at her titties or ass while you're raping her instead of her face. Because then you'll lose your boner. And that's like the worst thing in the world, apparently, to this guy. Sickening, sickening, sickening. and basically advocates ignoring the fact that she's either in pain or incredibly uncomfortable or just unwilling to have sex with you. And so he says, just stare at her tits, so you can nut without losing your boner. That's it. That's the whole purpose, right? I mean, my pleasure is the most important, but yours, I don't give a fuck about yours. I don't give a fuck about your pleasure. So sit down and shut up while I rape you. This is sick. This is sick. And this guy is a marital advice guy. And I can't imagine, and I hope no one ever takes his advice. No one. And let me be clear here, right? This guy says he's a Christian marital advisor. I think that majority of Christians do not agree with this guy. In fact, probably 99.9% of Christians out there are like, yeah, fuck this asshole. Not cool, man. Not cool. This is an example of the very, very small group of fundamentalists that I rail on. This is the type of thing that holds a society back. And this is the type of thing that needs to be fought against. So on that, I want to end with a little bit of advice for Larry Solomon. How about we leave Bronze Age gender roles back in the Bronze Age, where they fucking belong?